this point.
Yeah.
And it will be difficult for them to come back. Sponging answer. Everyone's got a good shot to go, guys. Everyone's got a will to win. You know,
Yeah.
with 2 hands, anybody can do anything. Yeah, friendship.
Let's go ahead and talk about some tweets there as we hear from Kalaris. A few more people tweeting us, letting know what they think about the match. From Wolf Shade GM. Wow, that was epic! Exclamation mark. I'm going to put that in there even though it doesn't say it. Gotta love that play by Team Expert. Dude, gotta agree with you, man. Europe showing up today. I hope North America can do the same because Europe right now is in boss mode. Going into game number 3, we have Dragonshire for our third map here. So let's go ahead and check out how we got here. Again, if you're just now joining us, first off, welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Hopefully you are enjoying it. Here is the 9 maps that we will be banning out / picking from for this entire first phase of HGC. So Braxis Holdout was banned out, as well as Sky Temple. We played on Kurstal. We played on Towers of Doom, and now we are going to Dragonshire. So Dragonshire will be a fun battleground, of course, but I want to know how we're going to have any type of scenario working out for Diamond Skin. They don't seem to be doing so well when they're spread out. The globals helped them a lot last time, but it feels like their team fights did much better for them when they grouped up.
I mean, you kind of stole the words right out of my mouth. That's kind of what I wanted to touch on. The fact that it felt like those larger maps, they did try and incorporate those globals, didn't quite work out towards the later stages of that game. They worked out fine during the earlier stages. But here on a smaller map, that's probably where they're going to thrive. And as much as I was like, they're Doom guys, sorry, they might have a little bit of a chance to bring it back here, doing what they normally do, which is some good, solid team fighting with Chris dealing out that damage from the back.
All right, let's do it. Let's go into the draft. Game number 3 coming at you. Team Expert taking on Diamond Skin. Expert up 2-0. We'll see if our teams can get their 4-man rotations and strong solo laners in that top lane.
Looking forward to it. Let's see. Okay. Will it be Tassadar ban for Team Expert? I suspect so. Tassadar Tracer on this map. Small, very annoying. And then on the other side, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, we'll have to see Thrall maybe being banned out. We'll see if that might be called. Blade has some really solid Earthquakes overall. I wonder if you even go to the lengths of banning out Medivh first ban. Sometimes you don't really want to go down the route of respect ban because you notice that it's great on the opposing team. There it is.
Ta-da!
There are scenarios where you're like, okay, we should go for a respect ban. But is it really worth it in terms of stats? I think in this scenario, you get rid of it. This team is not ready to deal with the shenanigans that ADRD puts on the battleground.
It hurts. It really hurts because all of their game plan last game was like, okay, towards the later stages of the game, we have Stitch's hook. Any hook can win it for us, guys. And then, oh no, wait, he's invincible and he pulled away. So, yeah, just remove that. And there we go. There's the Tassadar we were mentioning, because they just don't want to deal with it.
Here we go. First pick up for Diamond Skin. Now, something to know is that they are first pick here. Do they go down the Ragnaros route? Have they even practiced enough? Or do they keep going with their standard Malfurion? Actually, they pick up Malfurion first. So they just like Dignitas, feel like this is a solid foundation to start on. Grab your Malfurion, and then from there, build out your comp.
So by process of elimination, ETC Tychus?
We'll see. That has definitely been the first 3 picks the last couple of times. Why not? Continue your trend there. Tychus was taken away last time from Diamond Skin, but now that they have the first 2 slots, definitely a pickup.
I'd love to see ETC Ragnaros.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Ragnaros does well in the top lane. He pokes relatively well at the same time. He also is fantastic for push tiers. I don't think he is as great for defense. The Dragon actually can kind of tank that and push him in and get rid of it while the other 4 members sit in the back, but still, he has his strengths on this battleground. So it's definitely a possibility.
All right. There we go. Ragnaros and Rhaegar will come out to start.
Right. Expert mixing it up a little bit here, pulling out Rhaegar for the first time. See if maybe we get some Bloodlust comps going. There could also be a Bala mix up here later on. Diamond Skin on the left here. Do they take away the Tychus?
I think that would be a good idea. I don't think you want Nick on it. I think he thrives on it. Then, that being said, he'd probably go over to something like a Valor or a Zeratul afterwards. So you could potentially ban out one of those if you want to just limit one person. Because right now they have a plethora of warriors that they could go to. They've already got their support. So maybe start focusing on someone like Nick. Yeah, that could be good.
Something to know is that we're starting to get our stats, we're collecting them, we're going forward. Ragnaros right now, I know it's a small sample size, has a 100% win record in HGC.
Would it be any different?
Such a fanboy of Ragnaros Kalaris, but rightfully so, man. He's been destroying here in the HGC. Tychus and Zarya here on the left will be the pickups for Diamond Skin, and this gives them the chance to go for any warrior they would like in their 4th and 5th slot that they think works against what Expert is trying to build.
Zarya and Tychus bringing in the heavy weapon squads with their large guns. Now, so it's nice to see here from Diamond Skin. And what was I thinking on the ban for Team Expert now? Because already we're seeing Diamond Skin have quite a rounded set of comp.
Yeah, they're set up pretty well here. I would like maybe a little bit more wave clear. Tychus can do all right. Zarya, to a degree, when she gets some energy going, can go at the same time. You know, Johanna actually might be a good wave clear between the middle lane and the bottom lane. She's fallen off a tad bit, and that does open up for maybe a Leoric pick, which Expert does pick pretty often. Any of those scenarios could work out. I want to see what Expert wants to get rid of, potentially something wave clear based.
Let's find out in 1 second. Johanna will go.
Okay, cool. I'm right about one ban.
Good job, man.
Throughout the entire day. Can I get my high five over here? Let's do it. Thank you, Kalaris.
Well done, well done.
On the opposing side, Diamond Skin. We'll see what they're going to be doing from there. So, Malfurion, Tychus, Zarya, I feel like I want a strong front line from them, but I also want to make sure that they don't have to deal with any disengage in any way, shape, or form. Is there anything that's standing out for you here?
I think keep limiting Nick. I think, you know, either Zeratul to make sure that you don't have to deal with a Void Prison, or...
He's strong on this map.
Something.
There it is. Good call. Nice job, Colette.
It's as if we know this region trick.
It's like we're learning as we go, man. The meta is being shaped before our eyes. So Zeratul being taken out. Let's go ahead and look over to Expert. They move straight into Jaina and Murden. That was a snap pick, by the way, knowing what they want to pick up. So now they have a strong warrior who can sit in the front line, do whatever he wants, and Jaina and Ragnaros can be kept eye on with Rhaegar. Rhaegar can move around, bring in the cleanse, keep people topped off if he wants. There is no major setup, though, for Jaina, and except for the Saphira Smash when that comes in. So maybe we might need a better setup around the 5th. Murden does have Stormbolt too, but it's more isolated. There's nothing big here.
Something to slow, something to stun on the side of Team X. But let's think about Diamond Skin, though, as they probably want themselves a little bit more oomph behind all of this. Maybe a second warrior, I would say, as well. Zarya alone doesn't quite have it. Maybe Zarya Artanis could be a thing.
Artanis works here. If you get the swap on Rhaegar, Ragnaros, or Jaina when there's 3 squishies, that usually equates to a kill, especially without reabsorption and the Force of Will being here. So now you actually have the opportunity to get those, and we've seen Artanis already for this team. It's a matter of actually hitting those swaps.
All right, so what are they going to go down? I think Valor would be a nice damage dealer behind that as well if they want to head down there. But Dahaka and Thrall. So I think Thrall is not only them thinking about what they want in their comp, but also what they could potentially take away from a 5th slot from Team Expert. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. And you put Dahaka on a lane where you can pretty much win it no matter what, depending on what gets picked up in the top lane. Thrall can go into the rotation here, give the engage with Frostwolf. Zarya can help him out as well. So they actually have a really good 4-man overall. Dahaka gives better wave clear if they want him in the rotation, so they do have options based on what Expert picks up for the top lane.
This is a crazy call, and I don't think that they would play it, but I think Leoric even wouldn't be too bad. As a set, that you know that Dahaka's probably going to be kind of solo.
Yeah.
Even though Thrall can be solo as well, technically. But Leoric actually fares pretty well against Dahaka.
He does well in those lanes, and he also gives you great team fight. You suddenly get the Intune for Zarya. We've already experienced what she can do if she doesn't get, or if she gets isolated, right? She has no major escapes. I wouldn't mind seeing a Leoric here. He can also attach to Dahaka. The problem is he won't get too much value because he can actually burrow at that point.
Right.
So Dahaka becomes a bit scary to pick, or not Dahaka. Leoric becomes a bit scary to pick, but I can see him working in this comp overall.
Yep, let's find out what it's going to be.
Zul for the first time in Europe. So we get more wave play here. We get Jaina and Zul. Amazing wave clear, by the way.
Yeah.
They also get fantastic push. So Ragnaros indeed will be in that top lane. And all you got to do is focus on making sure to clear the middle lane and the bottom lane at the same time, and then just keep Diamond Skin on their back foot. And at some point, you sneak in a dragon.
So we were kind of with the same air of idea. You want some push ability. You want the potential to control the lanes.
Yeah.
Zul comes in at the very end. Also, he does set up the potential, unless Bone Prison actually gets cleansed out or something like that, he sets up the potential for things like Jaina to hit those combos and stuff. So this could be a very, very powerful pick.
Yeah, Skeletal Mages become very strong too because the only main warrior here is Dahaka, right? So you drop Skeletal Mages on the back line. If Thrall isn't starting to win a fight after the Earthquake has been popped, you start to have a point where he can't run away. They have to actually clear those Skeletal Mages to make it work. And they don't have much clear for those 4 little things that will pop up. So Zul makes a lot of sense for both the wave clear and team fight. He just brings that CC and that utility that is really needed for Expert to finish out this match.
All right, well, I think looking at the comps overall, there is definitely a way that Diamond Skin can get back in here. I want to see them trying to team fight heavy, and hopefully they'll get that opportunity to do so.
Sure.
But do you think post-level 10 that could be problems with things like Skeletal Mages slowing them down and stuff? What do you think?
Yeah, it could be a real problem. It's going to come down to Dahaka's play in the top lane, right? Can he handle Ragnaros and can he get the engage he wants? Because once Dahaka leaves that lane, Ragnaros just uses his Q, hit the middle of the lane, pushes it, and you're missing experience. So that means you need to get a team fight going in your way and then start working on mercenary camps. Grab Giants, grab those Knights, move forward. There's a lot of question marks that pop up and how Dahaka handles those. So I'm going to keep an eye on that character.
All right. Well, I think, Mr. Trixler, we are ready to go into Dragonshire.
Let's do it. Game 3, Expert up 2-0. If they take this series, they will move forward and win tonight. So let's see if they can do that. Diamond Skin on the back foot, and we will look into them first here. They are here on the left as the blue team. Wolf Joe on Malfurion, Nande on Thrall. It's Chris Explosion here on Dahaka. Chris himself down here on Tychus, and then Zarya will be played by Sports Billy. We saw that earlier.
Yes, we did. Excited to see how they're going to bring themselves back into this series, if they can at all. And then, of course, to the right-hand side here of Dragonshire, we have our red team, and it will be Team Expert. Currently 2 games up, with Blade playing Zul, Nick playing Jaina, Bad Benny playing Muradin. We have ADRD on Ragnaros, and Curson rounded things out on the Rhaegar.
All right, a slight pause here, but we're going to see how they handle this front lane here. Already looking at the mini-map, you can see that Diamond Skin is not going to try to go for an engage in the middle lane. They are just going to go ahead and spread on out and start soaking. I think I agree with that. The level 1 fight is very strong here for our red team, the Team Expert. Now, just so you guys know at home, there was a slight drop here. Chris Explosion is trying to get back in the game, so he's reconnecting. The moment he shows back up, we'll go ahead and hop back in.
I think what's happened there is his name is too exciting, and he's just
his computer literally exploded. And that's where that's actually the origin of his gamer tag, right? He bought like 4 different computers, 1 exploded.
I think actually the reason he's playing is because he needs the money so he can continually replace his PC.
Yeah, motivation. That's how you become really good in the HGC. You find ways to make it work. All right, Chris Explosion has reconnected. Let's go ahead and move back into Dragonshire. Again, Team Expert up 2-0.
All right, exciting to see. As for now, we do have already Bad Benny moving down towards that bottom location, and the rest are just going to slow down that wave in the mid. You can see them body blocking it, trying to make sure that that fight in mid is going to go their way as opposed to anything else, and Bad Benny being a sneaky, sneaky snake.
All this does is get the minions a little bit more on your side here, so Bad Benny can hit at the Stormbolt. Chris Explosion playing this well, though, hides up at the top left corner and just make sure that he can't be picked off by any engagement, especially noticing that Muradin wasn't there.
Yeah, and we'll clean up these waves very quickly. Look at the power behind that. Ragnaros going to move towards the top there to combat against Zarya as well as Thrall. I think Thrall was waiting in the bushes, so maybe he was a little bit apprehensive as to what was going on there with the coordination from Diamond Skin, but he survives.
Bad Benny going in.
Ooh.
Wants to maybe get a Stormbolt, but Sports Billy and Nande played that well in terms of positioning, just making sure they're not even near the bushes, especially since they noticed that the entire team was not in mid lane. You know a gank is coming your way, so nice heads-up play. Diamond Skin, keep an eye on that mini-map.
I like this separation from Team Expert. Just having Zul and Curson actually dealing with things at the bottom and getting themselves a kill. First blood on towards Zarya. They do not want things to snowball out of their control, and it could do if Zul and Rhaegar alone are the ones only controlling bottom 2 lanes.
Yeah, and this is where Zul actually becomes very heavy-handed on this battleground, is that he changes the dynamic of how it flows. Normally you put 4 in the middle, 4 on the bottom, and you keep up the rotation. Occasionally you go in the top lane, but because Zul clears so effectively, you can peel off a couple of members and go for those pickoffs and just hold the top lane, meaning Nande has to play incredibly safe or he will get picked off. Here he is, though, actually getting focused down, but here comes Sports Billy. There's the shield, and Diamond Skin trying to turn around. ADRD is taken out, but at least it was a 1-for-1 trade instead of 1-for-0.
Yeah, Bad Benny can get away from there as well with that Dwarf Toss, but Chris Explosion will secure himself that top shrine. Kirsten's trying to wrestle this one from Chris. Thankfully, that totem, it's annoying, and he won't be able to go through it too quickly.
Curson keeping up with the split pushing here. We had Zul already in the middle lane pushing in as well. The Dragon has been grabbed here for the blue team, but with 3 members floating around, there's going to be no way that Diamond Skin can actually grab that right now. Curson moves into the bottom, and now we're going to continue this teeter-totter dance of which shrines are grabbed, where, and when.
All right, so let's see if he can do anything about that. Zul still just provides so much strength down here. I think it's something that is relatively overlooked in Europe. I mean, you know, people argue against it. They're like, oh, it's not as good as, say, like, for example, America believes it to be, or some people say, oh, actually, you know, it has its place. But when it comes in at the end of a draft like that, I think that's a great place for Zul. To catch your opponents off guard and then really start piling on the pressure laning-wise.
Yeah, I mean, look at the wave clear for Diamond Skin. The major wave clear here in terms of expert level is Dahaka. Hang on, let's see if Chris Potion gets picked off. Nice burrow there. But Dahaka's the main wave clear. Everyone else does a decent job at clearing, but they can't handle 2 waves being pushed on them the entire time. Zul just made so much sense as a 5th pick there, and it's one of those pocket picks that you just pick up. I agree with you completely. Zul in Europe really seems to fit in that 5th slot.
Does well. Now, Chris Explosion taking a bit of damage, but not too much. Blade was maybe looking for that Bone Prison, but here comes Chris as well as Wolf Joe into the mix now. So Chris Explosion is quite low, so doesn't want to be too far forwards. Wolf Joe, though, getting in a bit of a sticky situation. They were looking for the kill, will not find it.
Gets away just barely, but again, this is what happened in the first game. Every time there was a fight, experts seem to be so far ahead in health bars, which gives them the momentum to go do something else on the map. In fact, they're doing it now. They're invading on the bottom left here and trying to maybe a little pressure on the Giants.
Yep.
Luckily for Diamond Skin, they caught that just in time and were able to turn them away, but the Temples do go over to Expert here as Ragnaros is trying to wrestle away in the top lane.
And that fight will go on for a little while. Unless Bad Benny has anything to say about it. Stormbolt comes in there, looking for a block. Any block? Don't think they'll need it because it does go down, that Q from Ragnaros. Sulfuros is a powerful weapon, my friend. Almost legendary, one would say.
Yeah, and also just to note that Murden also picked up Skullcracker, so he will have that stun every through the attack. So nice pickup for him, and allows Bad Benny to keep roaming. He's been doing such a good job, just to note here. If you ever see this replay in the future, watch how he's been moving between the middle and the top lane, as based off what Zul's doing. If Zul moves to the middle lane, he just gets there to make sure to support him and then move back up to ADRT. Here goes the dive in, though. He jumps in. Chris Explosion is going to take some damage here. He will be able to burrow. Sports Billy to show up to help assist. Sports Billy might be out of position, but with the help of Chris showing up, we're going to see them pull away nicely. But still, Dahaka low on HP.
You can see the control here coming out from Team Expert. Even Kirsten seemed comfortable enough to chase away Chris on a Tychus as a Regar. He had the backup of his team. He knew how far it could go, even when he got rooted. So, still, good control coming out from Team Expert. They're looking on fire right now.
ADRD keeping up with it here. Nande will hit the Wolf. Good head poke as well, but really it's starting to get to a point where Ragnaros just starts bringing in sustain, especially when he finishes that Q talent. He's about 75% there. Blade does sneak away the Dragon, and now the top lane is in trouble as the Dragon will start moving forward here. We do have Thrall and Chris Explosion here to help clear up, so Blade will move down to the middle lane, and mostly it becomes a thing of let's kill all these turrets and try to get to 10.
Yep, Blade will get himself a little bit of damage done. And let's see if anything else is going to occur from this point on. Dragging him forwards, just trying to deny it a little bit of the damage that they can do. Oftentimes this first Dragonite doesn't get a massive amount done anyway.
Yeah.
It's just a case of like almost denying it from your opponents for the most part. And finding towers here and there to push them towards 10.
There we go. They're about to hit level 10. The strategy there is just to push middle lane, get 1 or 2 attacks, force at least 3 people to come respawn. Your team just soaks the bottom lane and gets the turrets there. So nice textbook play here from Expert on how to handle an early Dragon.
Yep, definitely, definitely. Ancestral Healing, Sulfuros, Smash, Avatar, Ring of Frost, and Skeletal Mages coming in for Team Expert. As just poking away at that Dragon, but 2 seconds left on it. Blade is not sticking around. He does not want any part of that fight.
Right away, Expert just set up for these mercenary camps. Throws down the healing ward as well. Not for the healing, although it's helpful, but for the vision. Nice heads up play there. A relatively low cooldown that he can use later on. There shouldn't be a team fight in the next immediate future anyways, due to the fact that Diamond Skin is playing so passively. They grab their own mercs, get some pressure on the top lane, and now Diamond Skin hits level 10, and they can start making their plays.
There's got to be concern on the side of Diamond Skin now. You had 2 games down. You are behind on level 10. You've only just got it. So, admittedly, they haven't lost any of their forts. So at least they're going to be okay with that. They've got themselves Earthquake. They've got themselves Expulsion Zone, Adaptation, Commandeer Odin. And finally, what are we going to see from Malfurion? Remember, he is the solo support here, with a few shields here and there from Zarya.
With Zarya being here, as well as Dahaka, I feel like the go-to is Twilight Dream. They have their own self-sustain already, and you can just go for the extra burst damage, especially with Earthquake being available, but he's going to hold it back here and just wait for a second before he does pick it up. I do want to note that Diamond Skin has weathered the storm relatively well. When it comes to Zul, his early game is such a pain in the rear. Oh, hang on there. Explosion Zone goes off. Blade moving on in, and we actually had Tranquility here from Whiff Joe. He pops it, but they really didn't get much value out of those 2 heroics being used. They pushed in. Skeletal Mages were used as well. That's
a bit of a shame not being able to pick up Zul there, especially since he actually took Backlash, not Shade, which, you know, Shade has fallen off a little bit, but he really had not many defensive cooldowns of his own other than the fact that Ancestral Healing was available. I think they could have gotten away keeping him alive without Ancestral Heal, but you want to be better safe than sorry.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-2 trade overall. It works out. The only thing that kind of is lackluster is both healers are down in terms of their major support heroics when we go into the next team fight. So we might have a team fight delayed for a tad bit here unless there is some kind of isolation like this. Bad Benny moves in, goes for the Stormbolt. The cleanse was used right away though. And Chris is going to go ahead and go for the Kite. There's the tongue though on Ragnaros. ADRD moves in. So Fierce smash into the Q there. ADRD though does get focused down. Bad Benny will secure the kill on the background.
Looking for Anande now as well here. He's at the front, in front of all of his warriors. He will end up falling to that power. Commandeer Odin is going to have to be the damage dealer here against Zul. He doesn't manage to kill him off just yet. Might get a little bit more damage in there though, but the heals are coming out from Curson. Looks like Diamond Skin has to back out for now.
All right, so the fight does finish up. Let's take a quick look at the replay here to see how much damage was actually done by Ragnaros. Even though ADRD did fall victim, he was caught out, but he turns around, drops the Saphira Smash, as well as his Q, taking out Malfurion, game low HP. Bad Benny finishes the job, and it's a nice 1-for-0 trade there, but became a 1-for-2 when the fight concluded.
If that Sulfura Smash hadn't hit in just the way it did to do that much damage to Wolf Joe, and then Muradin doesn't finish him off with his minute little bits of damage, then that could have been far more in favor of Diamond Skin, but Sulfura Smash, it's good.
Yeah, definite win there if they had kept Malfurion alive. But Team Expert takes the advantage because they did secure the extra 2 takedowns, grabs the dragon, takes out the fort almost effortlessly here, and now they can start moving towards the bottom lane, clear out these giants, and work on more forts.
They've got to be so careful about how they take these team fights, Diamond Skin. They cannot be clumped up. Team Expert wants their opponents to clump up as much as possible, and they will evaporate them. But for now, Team Expert taking another fort. Dahaka's up towards the top, trying to get themselves scrambling towards level 13, and they will get a tower, which will trigger that. Maybe he could come in from the back if they want it, but look at Curson already on that right-hand side, drops a totem just in case Dahaka were to reinforce.
Yeah, nice use of the totems and the healing wards here, just keeping vision up for his team to watch out for any flanks. The Dahaka, as you mentioned, could burrow at any time, and there it is, and they see it. Curson immediately pops into mount form, and there goes Ragnaros. ADRD going for the turnaround. Massive stun on all 5 members here. Chrisplosion, low on health, is being focused down. Can he heal through? Here comes the Earthquake from Blade, or the Skeletal Mages from Blade. Earthquake is going down, but it's not enough. Ragnaros is just shelling away.
Oh, brutal damage coming out there, as they are going to be able to do quite a bit more damage. Maybe even take keep from this, as Chris is being dived on towards. It's a lot of damage. I think they want to just get keep and go away. That's going to be Ancestral Healing on towards Blade. They don't have Molten Core to kind of capitalize off this, and they're taking a lot of damage from that.
Ring of Frost is still up, but no mana here for Nick, so he's going to have to be forced to retreat. I agree. Running away is the best call here, and we see the keep taken out.
Now, let's take a look at that fight once again where Molten Core was popped. One thing you don't get a chance to do much is Molten Swing. You see it right there from ADRD. That stuns everybody in the arc and then causes so much pain. Even that Sulfura Smash towards the back almost instantly evaporates the Malfurion. But the Molten Swing there to start things off, Diamond Skin went too far forwards against that Molten Core.
Yeah, they got excited. We have a pickoff potentially here. Dahaka moving in. We saw that there was people in the bottom left. If they had gone to that fight and Molten Core didn't come up, they win that fight 100%. Yeah. But you always have to have that in the back of your mind. Also, just to point out, the Molten Swing into the Sulfura Smash, basically all for Malfurion, right? Malfurion was trying to slam his Ice Block. Unfortunately, just a tad bit too late, taking full damage on the front.
Let me tell you, when you're playing Ragnaros out there, guys, if you can Molten Swing a team, that is your dream situation. You very rarely get to do it because people just back off. But when you get it, it feels so good.
Yeah, it feels very powerful. And now the Shrine's activating in 18 seconds. Main thing for Diamond Skin here is to probably stack up, let Dahaka soak in a different lane, and try to just delay tactic. You actually don't want to fight here. If they see anyone, I wouldn't mind them to just mount up and move to the bottom portion of the map.
All right, so looks like Team Expert here going to apply some pressure towards the top. And those shrines are about to activate. Ragnar towards the top. Dahaka is trying to clean up, but he probably will go down towards that shrine in a moment, knowing that there's not any global potential. But here comes a stun on towards Wolfjo. The Sulfura Smash misses, but will that ring hit? It only hits one towards the back in Chris, and he gets cleansed. Will he get away?
Earthquake has been popped. We're going to have Odin popped here by Tychus. Tranquility is keeping him high on HP. Bad bidding going for the escape here. So a majority of the heroics are popped, but no major trade-off. The major thing here for Team Expert, as they already have the first shrine on top, and now they can move towards getting a dragon.
That was great crisis management by Diamond Skin. For all of their shortcomings in this game, they kept people alive under a highly pressured situation. So those two shrines, though, now... It goes from highly pressured situation to highly pressured situation, unfortunately for Diamond Skin.
It doesn't stop with Expert. They just know how to run these maps so well. They've been in the game for so long. Chris Explosion comes in, a nice juke on the tongue, and that means there will not be a takedown on Bad Benny. All 5 members being in the top, a dragon pushing down the middle lane. The main thing for Expert to do here is to try and keep these members here. While we have a push in the middle lane, the dragon can start shelling away to keep. All Expert has to do is try to keep all blue health bars around this fort and not die.
This could be a heroic mode game again, I feel. They seem to be convincingly winning the team fights whenever they pop up. So take heroic mode and try and just secure massive damage when you're trying to push onto the core for the win. We'll see if they do go that later on down the line. They might even get there. ADRD, Expulsion Zone. They're looking to try and get the kill off on Ragnaros. Will they get him as he pops out? Doesn't look like it.
The Ring of Frost does connect with 2 members though. Malfurion low on HP. There's a fair smash on Chris, going down to half HP, but Wolfjo will keep him alive. This keep though down to a quarter HP. Can they try and take it down? Yes, they're going to use Molten Core and just siege away upon the keep.
That Molten Swing didn't quite hit the mark because they'd all ran away, which is fine, but any little bits of damage you can do. You guarantee yourself a keep with a Molten Core? That's fine. We can back off for 100 seconds and chill out.
All right, Expert retreating now, knowing that there are major plays here. Molten Core, a few heroics are down. Chris Explosion realizing, all right, this is our moment. We have to make a play, or we're going to be significantly behind when they hit level 20. They invade these giants in the bottom right. He's leading the charge here. Now, watch out. Skeletal Mages have been popped up. Bad Benny going in. We have Dahaka low on HP once again. Nande trying to hold down this mercenary camp. Will be able to grab it. Wolfjo is the one that grabs the mercenary camp. There goes the Bone Prison. Can they lock down the Malfurion?
I wanted to recite the Frozen lyrics there to Blade for a moment. I thought it was going to go on to that, but I just kept thinking to myself, let it go. There's no point. Just get yourself your level 20 and then be safe from there.
Yeah, they had to walk away from the fight also, just with the catapult pressure already down in the bottom lane. Dahaka head over there. Everyone's clearing up, and Expert now trying to soak every single minion they can. Get to 20, keep all the pressure up, and then get to a fight once the heroics pop up.
Blade, you're in no man's land, my friend, but luckily for you, your team is very good at rotating. That's going to be him going down. Ancestral Heal will not pop on him. This is a good opportunity now for Diamond Skin to get back into it. Bad Penny taking a bit of damage. They're trying to go for Nick, though.
The problem is that Tychus is actually taken out, which is one of their main sustained damage dealers. ADRD is on the back left corner here. Bad Benny focusing on Dahaka. Here comes Nick with the Ice Lands. Is going to be able to penetrate it there. Get some damage on him. Chris Explosion is trying to move back in. Zari Shields to keep him alive slightly. Nande, though, has got stuck in the bush there, and he will get focused out. Now Wolfjo on the side. Bad Benny chasing. Ice Block is used, but Wolfjo is so low on health.
How was this turned? I can't believe Spot Billy now is going to be under threat, and he will end up falling. A 4th man falls up towards the top as Zarya goes down, and Team Expert turn a losing situation into a winning one. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think 2 things happened there. 1, they hit level 20, and 2, I felt like Thrall's position was not good at all. You never run into a scenario where you don't have an escape. And he ran in that little bush area and got stuck in that choke. He was focused down and taken away and out of the fight. Now the core suddenly in trouble. All 5 members pushing down. Here is Ragnaros sieging away, Kalaris.
Bring on that heroic mode. He misses Sulfura Smash, but that core is falling rapidly under the pressure. Notice how he went and did damage to it before going into heroic mode, knowing that he had room and was alleviated from it. GG, Team Expert will take it 3-0.
Team Expert taking the entire series 3-0 as mentioned there, and it looks like both our matches were 3-0s, but still great games overall. Really an enjoyable experience here to be in HGC Europe.
I'm just happy to be here, and then also watch Ragnaros do Ragnaros things, Trixler.
Ragnaros continuing the trend of having a 100% win record here in the game. So as we get ready for North America later on in the afternoon, what was your favorite part about today?
A lot of good stuff. Firstly, Ragnaros, let's just get that out of the way, of course. But also the way in which, you know, Team Expert was able to approach their first series of the day. Very, very strong.
All right, well, let's talk about the play of the day for us here. Let's go ahead and talk about what we saw on Towers of Doom.
Oh.
This was such a clutch escape from our team that was playing. Here it is. We're going to have the wonderful engage here. Bad Mini shows up with the power slide. There goes a mosh pit, blowing down multiple members, and that was just such a fantastic play overall. Expert, even though they only got one pick there, showed how much their coordination and their communication is top of the line.
Yeah, very, very good stuff. It was so good we went to see some of the stats of that as well. But of course, that was a great little ability and synergy that we saw there from Team Expert. Again, it's why they're one of my big picks here in HGC Europe.
I mean, if they play like that, Fnatic, Dignitas, Misfits, watch out, seriously. So such great play overall by Expert. And of course, the other team that I'm going to be watching for this weekend is Tricked Esports.
Yes.
I feel like they are the other one that could be in that fourth slot here, although Expert has made it very convincing that they deserve to be there.
Yeah, for sure. They're Tricked Esports. They have a team of absolute veterans available to them. The return of Alex the Pro G on the way very, very soon. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. So now when you actually just think about standings right now, we know Misfits at the top here, Expert out there with them as well. Diamond Skin as well as Dignitas fall all the way to the bottom. But remember, this is a small sample size. It's 1-0 and 0-1 right now. They have the time here over the next couple of weeks to find their placement amongst the top 8.
Absolutely. And I think that is something to reiterate of significant importance. The fact that, yes, Diamond Skin did fall here today, but they've just incorporated a new member. Chris and Sport Billy have played with each other extensively before, but not the full team, the full cohesion. They held their own for the most part there against Team Expert, even though Team Expert did outclass them towards the end stages. But you're right, from week to week to week, this team is going to be regaining some strength, regaining some momentum, and from the start of the season to the end, we will definitely see a very